Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. I'd like to talk about a flocking issue this morning. It's flocking incredible, and I think that it shouldn't be flocking allowed. Okay, joking aside, let's talk about flock cameras. Well, first let's start with whose vehicles and what pictures of people and motions and travelings are being taken. And that's the easiest question to answer. Everybody, every single person, every single vehicle, flock is doing this. It just is. There's no doubt about that. Some of you may not even know what a flock camera is. So let me explain very shortly what it is. You're going down the road and you see these cameras mounted on a pole about 7-8 feet high, and they have a solar panel above them. These are called flock cameras, and they're popping up everywhere. They're popping up to the tune of 80,000 cameras nationwide. And what they are specifically designed to do is read license plates. They do more than that. We'll get there. But they're designed to read license plates. And law enforcement is contracting with a private company to have these license plates flag the plates that are stolen vehicles, Amber Alerts, kids that are kidnapped, Silver Alerts, the elderly who have driven off that are having mental problems, missing people. Basically, the system will flag anybody and send an alert to the police that the police have asked them to. If you stole a car, the car's been, is driven away, and you report it stolen, the police will take and say to the flock company, "Where's this car?" And boom, 80,000 cameras, one of them's going to tell them where the car is. That sounds pretty good. Amber Alert. Where's this car that has this child that has been kidnapped by a parent or, anybody else? Boom, there it is. We've got this. This all sounds great. So the next question is, why are they contracting this out? They're contracted out because a private company doesn't face the same restrictions that a government entity does for Fourth Amendment restrictions. The Fourth Amendment basically, in this context, prevents the government from following you around and tracking your movements, and it basically gives you freedom of movements unhindered by the government. Okay, but the police are just using this to find missing kids and stolen vehicles, etc., etc. Well, guess what else they use it to find? ICE has started accessing the records from Flock to find illegal immigrants. Yep, that's right. We're going to get to that as well, because that's pretty incredible. What sets off the camera? The tag. It takes a picture of the tag and it stores it locally within the camera system itself, and it also uploads it to the company's cloud, or Flock's cloud. That sounds good. Motion sets it off too. And the motion that sets it off will take a picture of anything. If it's not a tag, it'll put it in a different folder. So they can look at it later if they need to. I don't think it sends that one to the cloud, but who knows? Let me take a quick moment to explain why this is coming up today. Last night I was watching a YouTube video. I'll try and find a link for it and leave it in the show notes. But I was watching a YouTube video, and it was incredibly informative. We've watched this guy talk about the flock camera system before, and he's technologically savvy beyond most of us. Definitely beyond me. I've fallen way behind on that scale, but he's technically savvy beyond most people. I don't even remember his name. I'll be honest with you. I was so caught up in the message he was giving. I mean, we follow him on YouTube, but I was so caught up in the message that he was giving that I forgot to take note of his name. Right? This brought back to the forefront the idea of the flock cameras. I deal with these cameras on the daily. This is just who I am. I'm that truck driver that's out there, and I see these cameras all the time. And for a long time, I wondered what they were, and I finally figured it out. And my wife went into a deep dive with this guy, and he showed us what they actually are doing and what they're using them for. All right, so they'll take a picture of the tag, and they'll save that and send it to the cloud. And if it's flagged, they'll alert the police. Who has access to these records? There are some court cases that are going up. There is a county in Missouri that realized the infringement that these flock cameras are causing, and basically they said, oh, no flocking way. And they took the cameras and they came up with a county-wide ordinance, law, whatever it was, and said, no, we're not going to allow these in our camera. And one of the lead commissioner, think of him like a mayor of a county, that commissioner kept notifying Flock that these cameras were not legal within the boundaries of the county. That county canceled their contract that they had with Flock. However, the state and the sheriff's department had a contract. The county commissioner, we'll call him commissioner, the commissioner notified Flock that they needed to come and get the cameras. Well, they never did because the Flock company maintained a contract with the state. So the state, that now obviously the sheriff's department has to maintain the laws of the county, so I don't think they were involved, but the state they concurred with Flock that the contract was legal and intact. Well, that commissioner, I think his nickname is Commissioner Ike, that commissioner went out to one of the poles and he climbed up there with the help of a fellow person. I don't know who the other person was. The articles I've read haven't mentioned it, but he went up there and he took down the Flock camera and stuck it in a storage unit. Now the problem he has is he went on the state property, state maintained road, and took it down. So some state troopers witnessed him do it, went over, talked to him, and eventually he was charged with two felonies. Basically, he was stealing a Flock camera, which is over $750 in value in Missouri. That makes it a felony. So he stole a camera. They settled eventually. They had a plea deal. And he had some misdemeanor charges, but it didn't go to court, which I believe is what Flock wanted. And that got put aside. So that he did not take that camera apart. He did not do anything but put it in storage. And we didn't learn anything about the camera. We didn't learn how long images and videos are kept on the camera, 30 days, by the way. And this all came from this other guy that obtained his camera legally, is his contention. The cameras are still legal. Who has access to the databases? The contractors have access to the databases. And in this case, the contract is written by the police departments, state patrol, sheriffs, HOAs. I mean, you don't have to be law enforcement to request and to have a Flock camera installed. I do believe you have to pay for a subscription, but there you go. So this is not even just limited to law enforcement. Who has access to it? Whether it is installed by an HOA, a business, or city, county, state, all law enforcement agencies that have a contract with Flock can do searches on their Flock database to find it. Now we're getting into a little bit of a dicey area because now police, law enforcement, has bypassed the Fourth Amendment by using a contractor to provide the service. Well, they're not getting away with it. Is it legal? For now, it's legal. Some of the cities that are immigration friendly for illegals have canceled their contract with Flock because ICE is using that to find the illegal immigrants. They made a very big deal of this. The ability for a city to be a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants, they're very happy and very proud of this. So when they came into the cities and they took down all the flock cameras, the city council, the mayor, they all extolled how great they were. Sorry about the camera movement here. I just had a little bit of a mishap. I forgot to turn off my alarm again. So they were very happy with each other and their actions. They took down the flock cameras and everything was great and handy, and they were very wonderfully, excited with each other, and they were, Sanctuary City gets to carry on with the illegal aliens. One problem: they can't take down the state road and federal road cameras. Those are under a different contract. So as soon as they announced this, illegal immigrants felt free to move about again. Sanctuary City restored, no more flock cameras, they're good to go. Except they weren't. And there was an immediate uptick in the apprehension of illegal aliens. Why? Easy. The state cameras and the federal, on the federal roads and on the state roads, the federal highways, the state patrol, they're the ones that police it, so they put up their own cameras. And the state roads, obviously, cities and counties can't do anything about that, as we found out with the Commissioner Ike situation. There was an immediate uptick in the apprehension of illegal aliens. It kind of backfired, but they're not talking about that because they don't want to dirty their reputation. Where are these cameras? They are everywhere, and they continue to pop up more and more. If you're driving, you're going to pass a camera. You can't go anywhere without, you obviously you can go someplace, but you can't go anywhere on a federal or state road. Most county roads, I think the only place you could probably go where there's not a flock camera is a dirt road, but I haven't been down a dirt road in a little while, so that may be wrong too. But they are everywhere, and they're catching everything. There have been several FOIA requests. I'm going to do my own. I just did a little bit of research this morning because, old men have trouble sleeping. And I found out you can do a FOIA request for your own flock information on your vehicle. Our AI Grok was kind enough to give me the very specific directions. So I'm going to do that. But they are everywhere. You see them constantly. Look, I am pro-justice. I am pro let's get the job done and take care of anybody that's breaking a just law needs to be apprehended and put away. I believe in the preservation of freedom. I believe in the preservation of freedom. And that's what law enforcement's job is. And if someone steals your property, then their job is to go get your property. If someone kidnaps a child, it's their job to go get that child. I have a problem with these flock cameras, though. They are tracking every movement, and the police have the ability to go and find anything they want within the flock system. Now, the flock company, it claims otherwise, but the police have demonstrated over and over again that they have access to everything within the records. I think this is beyond bad. I think this is corruption of the government, and we need to stop it. There are a couple lawsuits that are happening right now. There's one lawsuit that happened that took on the Freedom of Information Act for all flock cameras. And that came back in favor of the people that sued the police department. And they won. So if you want your flock information, you can go get it. You just have to figure out the procedure within your state or within your county to do so. The most recent flock edition in our area is on an on-ramp to the interstate that I go to work every day. And it's been less than 30 days since that's been put up. That specifically is the one that I'm very curious about. How often does it catch me going down that ramp? I want to know. So I'm going to put in a FOIA request for that. I encourage everybody to put in a FOIA request. One of the place that lost the lawsuit, they immediately started shutting off all of their cameras because they did not want to be overwhelmed with FOIA requests. So they shut them all off. Or did they? They at least have stopped accessing them. Does that mean Flock is no longer running the cameras? Who knows? We can't tell. They're legal for now. There are 2 lawsuits outstanding, one in Virginia and another one I think is still in Washington State. And these 2 lawsuits are saying, nope, this is a breach of the Fourth Amendment, whether the government owns the camera or not. Hopefully, we'll find out by the end of the year whether these cameras are going to withstand the litmus test of the Fourth Amendment. I don't think they do. I think that we should all be aware that law enforcement is playing games. Let's not forget that when law enforcement makes these contracts with these companies and they do it with the knowledge that they are going around the Fourth Amendment, they're utilizing a loophole in the judicial system that says we don't know if this is legal yet, but we're going to do it because we want this information. And they get the information without permission of the public. They just do it. And that's not right. This is your money. This is your privacy that's being invaded. And the police that are putting these contracts, the sheriff's department, the state patrol, the cities, the HOAs, not a lot you can do about a private entity like an HOA or business. But the cities, counties, state, and federal people who are putting these contracts in place, they're doing a runaround of the Fourth Amendment. And that should not be allowed. And I hope that the judges find in favor of freedom. Because, as we all are aware, freedom is kind of number 1 on my list of things that should be preserved. But I wanted to talk about the Flock today. So I got that out there. Had a little bit of a technical issue because I forgot to turn off my alarm again. So my recording stopped, and I'm hoping it's recording now. If it's not, it's going to be a very short podcast. It is Wednesday, and I hope that you all go out and have a wonderful Wednesday. I hope that you go out and you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time,